A crash shattered the festival music. A wooden cart toppled, apples scattering across the cobbled square as a small body darted straight into the chaos. "Rowan!" someone shouted. The boy didn't slow down. He burst through the startled crowd, clutching a crushed marigold in his fist like a knight charging into battle. His boots skidded on fallen fruit, but he righted himself and ran straight toward the quiet woman standing near the herb stall. Elara barely had time to turn before he collided with her skirts. He looked up at her, breathless, green eyes blazing with determination. "Wait," he demanded, as if she might disappear. "I have to ask you something important." The entire square seemed to hold its breath. Elara's pulse slammed in her ears. Those eyes, not just green, emerald, bright, familiar, too familiar. The boy thrust the ruined flower toward her. "Will you marry me? I can protect you. I'm almost 6. A ripple of laughter moved through the villagers, but Elara didn't hear it. Her gaze was locked on the child's face, on the curve of his brow, the stubborn line of his mouth, on the eyes that mirrored another's. "Rowan," a deep voice said from behind him. The air changed. The crowd shifted instinctively, stepping aside. He stood at the edge of the square like a shadow carved from authority. Tall, broad-shouldered, dark hair tied back at his neck. His cloak bore no crown, yet power clung to him like a second skin. King Kalen Thorn. Elara's lungs refused to work. Rowan frowned over his shoulder. "Papa, I'm asking her something serious." Kalen's gaze lifted from his son to her. 7 years vanished in a single heartbeat. "Elara," he said quietly. Her name in his voice felt like a blade sliding between her ribs. She swallowed. "Your Majesty." Rowan looked between them, confused. "You know each other?" Neither answered. Kalen stepped forward slowly, as if approaching a wounded animal. "We've been searching for you." "I wasn't hiding," she said, though they both knew it was a lie. Rowan tugged at her hand. "You're the Moon Mother." Her stomach dropped. "The what?" "The Moon Mother," Rowan repeated impatiently. "Papa tells me stories when I can't sleep, about a brave healer with silver light in her hands." "That's you." Kalen's jaw tightened. Elara forced her voice steady. "I think you've mistaken me for someone else." Rowan's grip tightened. "No, it's you." Kalen exhaled slowly. "Please, join us for a meal." Rowan insisted on exploring the village today. The Silver Stag Inn is just ahead. She should have refused. She should have walked away. But Rowan was still staring at her like she was the answer to something he didn't understand. "For the child," Kalen added softly. She nodded once. "For the child." Inside the inn, Rowan chattered endlessly, perched between them at the table as if orchestrating a treaty. "I'm brave," he informed her proudly. "Even when I'm sick." Elara's hand stilled. "Sick?" Kalen's eyes darkened. "Rowan." "It's fine," the boy said with forced cheer. "I don't cry anymore." Her healer's instincts sharpened instantly. She leaned closer. "What do you mean, Rowan?" Before he could answer, his smile faltered. The color drained from his face. "Elara," Kalen warned. Rowan's small body jerked violently. The chair toppled as Kalen caught him, but Rowan's limbs convulsed, eyes rolling back, breath hitching into a terrible broken rhythm. "Clear the table." Elara snapped. Her voice cut through panic like steel. Kalen laid the boy flat. "It's happening again." "How long?" she demanded, pressing her palm to Rowan's burning forehead. "Months." She swore under her breath. Rowan's pulse fluttered wildly beneath her fingers. His skin was too hot. His breathing shallow. "Hold him steady." Kalen's hands trembled only slightly as he pinned Rowan's shoulders. "We've tried everything. The royal physicians. They're blind," she said sharply. "This isn't an illness." Rowan arched with another violent tremor. Elara closed her eyes and reached deeper, not with sight but with instinct. There it was. A tear. Not in flesh. In something older. In something sacred. She felt the bond between the boy and his wolf spirit flickering like a dying flame. Her eyes snapped open. "This is a curse." Kalen froze. "What?" "A rare one." Her voice lowered. "The severed howl." Silence fell heavy between them. Rowan's convulsions eased, But his body lay limp now, too still. Kalen's voice was hoarse. What does it do? It attacks royal wolf bloodlines, she said. It weakens the connection between child and spirit. Slowly, painfully, until the body cannot survive without it. Kalen's face went ashen. Can you fix it? She hesitated. Yes, she said finally. But it will cost. His eyes burned into hers. Anything. The Heartbridge rite. Recognition flared in his gaze. That ritual was outlawed. For good reason, she said. It requires a healer to merge her life force with the afflicted. Temporarily. And the risk. She met his eyes. If the curse resists, it could consume us both. Rowan stirred weakly. Papa. Kalen bent instantly. I'm here. Rowan's gaze drifted toward Elara. Don't go. Her chest tightened painfully. I won't, she whispered. Kalen looked at her as if seeing her for the first time again. Why would you help us? Because I never stopped loving you. Because I left you. Because this is my fault. She pushed the thoughts aside. Because he deserves to live. Kalen's voice softened. Stay. 3 nights. Prepare what you need. And if I refuse? She asked quietly. His jaw clenched. Then I'll beg. The vulnerability in his voice struck harder than any command. She nodded. 3 nights. They carried Rowan to the small cottage at the edge of the village. Elara moved through her space with brisk efficiency, laying protective herbs, drawing sigils and ash. Kalen watched her as if afraid she might vanish again. That night Rowan woke from a fever dream. There's a lady, he whispered. In black feathers. She's watching. Elara stiffened. From where? The trees. Kalen's eyes sharpened. Describe her. Pretty, Rowan murmured sleepily. But angry. Elara and Kalen exchanged a look heavy with understanding. Virel, Kalen said under his breath. She went still. You think she would curse a child? She would curse a kingdom to rule it. Anger flared in Elara's chest. Why? Because I ended our betrothal, he said bluntly. Years ago. For me. Yes. The words hung between them. You should have married her, Elara whispered. You needed an heir. I have one. Her throat tightened. And I wanted only you, he added. She turned away, gripping the edge of the table. I'm barren. Silence fell like a blow. She forced the words out. The court physicians confirmed it. I left so you could choose a fertile bride. Kalen stepped closer. You left without telling me. I was protecting you. You were deciding for me, he snapped, then immediately softened. You think I cared more about succession than you? She faced him slowly. I would have chosen you, he said. Every time. Her control fractured. You deserved more. I still do, he replied, and pulled her into a kiss that felt like 7 years of restrained ache breaking free. The mate bond flared to life between them, hot and undeniable. Rowan stirred in the next room. And outside, a howl split the night. Kalen's head snapped up. Another howl answered. Not natural. Not right. Elara's blood ran cold. They're here. The door exploded inward. Shadowed wolves lunged through splintered wood, eyes glowing with unnatural fire. Kalen shifted mid-stride, bones cracking, form expanding into a massive golden wolf that filled the doorway with lethal fury. He collided with the first attacker in a snarl of teeth and blood. Elara! He roared in wolf form. Rowan screamed from the bedroom. She ran toward him as another wolf crashed through the window. Claws raked her arm, drawing blood. Pain flared, but something deeper ignited with it. The circle wasn't ready. The ritual incomplete. She dragged Rowan into the center of her hastily drawn sigils. Papa, he cried. Kalen howled in rage as venomous fangs sank into his flank. Elara! His human voice rasped as he shifted back, partially wounded and staggering. She pressed her bleeding palm to Rowan's chest. I'm here, she whispered. Hold on to me. The shadows closed in. And she began the rite. Light burst from her palm like a blade drawn from her very soul. The unfinished sigils on the floor flared, lines of ash igniting into molten gold. Rowan's small body arched as the energy struck him, not violently this time, but desperately, like something drowning clawing for air. Elara! Kalen roared. Another shadow wolf lunged toward her, jaws wide. Kaelin intercepted it mid-leap, slamming it into the wall with bone-crushing force. He moved slower now. Blood darkened his golden fur. Venom shimmered beneath his skin like black lightning. "Elara," he rasped again. "I can't stop," she whispered. The heartbridge rite demanded focus. It demanded surrender. She felt Rowan's wolf spirit flickering inside him, dim, terrified, slipping away from his body like smoke through broken glass. "I'm here," she breathed, pressing her forehead to his. "Follow my voice. Follow the light." The curse resisted. It was not just magic, it was deliberate. It wrapped around Rowan's spirit like barbed wire, tightening as she tried to pull him back. Outside the circle, Kaelin tore through another wolf, but a third sank its teeth into his shoulder. He howled in pain as venom surged deeper. "Elara!" he roared again, but this time his voice broke. She felt him. Not just physically, emotionally. The mate bond that had flickered earlier now roared alive, blazing between them like a second sun. Poured into her. Strength, fury, love. She gasped as the energy doubled, tripled, overwhelming the fragile structure of the ritual. The circle cracked. Ash lines shattered. The curse lashed out, striking her chest like a hammer. Pain exploded behind her ribs. She tasted blood. For one terrible second she felt her own spirit slipping. Rowan's fingers curled weakly into her sleeve. "Moon. Mother." The word shattered her fear. "You don't get to leave," she whispered fiercely. "Not after finding me." She reached deeper, not just as a healer, as his mother, as Kaelin's mate, as something more powerful than the curse had anticipated. The golden light changed. It stopped fighting. It fused. Her life force didn't push against the curse anymore. It wrapped around Rowan's spirit like a shield, bridging the torn connection between boy and wolf. The mate bond between her and Kaelin surged fully awake. It flooded the room with blinding brilliance. Kaelin threw his head back and howled, a sound that shook the rafters and split the night sky. The shadow wolves screamed. Their bodies fractured into smoke. The venom beneath Kaelin's skin burned away in streaks of light. The curse unraveled with a sound like breaking chains. Rowan gasped. Air rushed into his lungs. The light collapsed inward. Silence. Elara swayed. Kaelin lunged forward, catching her before she hit the floor. Rowan blinked slowly. His eyes clear. Bright. Whole. "Papa," he whispered. Kaelin pulled him close with one arm, the other holding Elara tightly against him. "It's over," Kaelin said, voice shaking. "It's over." Elara tried to speak, but darkness tugged at her vision. Kaelin pressed his forehead to hers. "Stay with me." She forced her eyes open. "He's stable." "You nearly weren't," he said roughly. Rowan crawled closer and wrapped his small arms around her waist. "Don't go away again." The plea hit harder than the curse ever had. "I'm not going anywhere," she whispered. By dawn, royal guards had arrived. Lady Varel Ashmore was found attempting to flee through the northern forest, black feathers woven into her cloak like a mockery of the vision Rowan had described. She did not deny it. In the capital's great hall, beneath vaulted stone and watching nobles, she stood unrepentant. "You risked a child," Kaelin said coldly from the throne dais. "I risked weakness," she replied calmly. "A kingdom cannot be ruled by sentiment." Rowan stood beside Elara in the gallery, pale but steady. "You call love weakness?" Kaelin demanded. "I call barrenness a liability," Varel shot back, her gaze sliding toward Elara with venomous intent. "You chose her over stability, over power." Murmurs rippled through the court. Elara held Rowan's hand firmly. Varel's lips curved. "A healer who cannot bear children. How tragic." Before Kaelin could respond, Rowan stepped forward. The hall fell silent. "Mothers don't have to make babies," he said clearly. His voice did not tremble. "They just have to love you." A wave moved through the chamber, not laughter, not shock, but something heavier. Understanding. Varel's composure cracked for the first time. Kaelin rose slowly. "You cursed my son," he said. "You sent beasts to slaughter him. You attacked the woman who saved him." Varel lifted her chin. "Empires are not built on affection." "No," Kaelin agreed quietly. "They are built on loyalty." His gaze swept the hall. "And you have none." The sentence was swift. Treason. Dark sorcery. Attempted regicide. As guards led her away, she locked eyes with Elara. "You think love protects you?" she hissed. Elara did not flinch. "It already has." Weeks later, Hawthornvale felt different. Lighter. Rowan raced across the meadow outside Elara's cottage, laughter carrying on the wind. He shifted partially as he ran, wolf energy crackling playfully at his heels. "Look," he shouted. "I'm faster now." Kaelin stood beside Elara, arms crossed loosely. "He is," he admitted, pride evident in his voice. "You almost lost him," she said quietly. "We almost lost each other." She looked up at him. "I won't run again," she said. "Good," he replied, and then surprised her by lowering himself to one knee in the grass. Rowan froze mid-run. "Papa." Kaelin didn't look away from her. "I asked you nothing when you left," he said softly. "I will not make that mistake twice." He reached into his pocket and pulled out a simple band, crafted from polished river stone, smooth and pale. "Rowan found it," he said. He insisted it was lucky. Rowan nodded vigorously. "It's special." Kaelin took her hand. "No court," he said. "No politics. Just me." His voice roughened. "Will you stop running with me?" Her eyes filled. "I was never running from you," she whispered. "I was running from fear." "Then let's face it together." She laughed through tears. "Yes." Rowan tackled them both in an ecstatic hug. "You're staying," he demanded. "I'm staying," she promised. He grinned brilliantly. "Then can I call you Mama?" Her breath hitched. "Yes," she whispered. The word settled into her bones like it had always belonged there. Kaelin slid the ring onto her finger. No crown. No grand decree. Just a king, a healer, and a boy beneath open sky. As twilight fell, Rowan tugged at Kaelin's cloak. "Tell the Moon Mother story again tonight?" Kaelin smiled at Elara. "I think she should tell it." Elara knelt in the grass, pulling Rowan close. "Once," she began softly, "there was a brave little wolf who found his family not because of blood, but because of love." Rowan beamed. Kaelin brushed his knuckles against her cheek. And for the first time in 7 years, Elara felt whole. If this story moved you, if you believed in second chances and love stronger than fear, don't forget to like the video, subscribe for more magical romances, and tell us in the comments, would you have performed the heart bridge rite? Because sometimes the bravest thing we can do is stay and choose love.